morning, Australia. Welcome to GMA. Lovely to have your company. You probably realise this is the rundown, the final rundown this week. 5 shows to go. And what a better way of starting a week of Good Morning Australia than by introducing members of one of Australia's greatest ever bands, if not the greatest ever. Matter of fact, a lot of Australian bands try for international fame and fortune, etc., but no one's achieved it more than these members from Inxs. Please welcome Tim Farriss and Kirk Pengelly, and a new member, JD Fortune.
Welcome, boys. Great to have you. Welcome. It's the new boy.
The new boy. Congratulations
brother.
on that. How does it feel?
It's such a whirlwind right now. It's just difficult to put into words, to be honest with you, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're missing 3 of the guys, aren't we? We're missing John and Gary and Andrew. Yeah. But it's good to have... Are they Kerry Ann Kennelly fans?
They're in Sydney.
Yeah. The interesting thing, of course, was that basically it seemed the whole of Australia was watching that competition for the new voice. I was doing a theatre show at the time, and every week, I mean, there was the sit down, have a cup of coffee and dispute and agree and the whole deal.
Water fountain discussions.
Exactly. Yeah. Is that how it felt for you guys too?
Yeah,
what was the feeling?
I mean, because, you know, we shot it in the States, in LA. You know, everywhere we went, in supermarkets, people come, you know, you're going to pick Jordis, aren't you? Or whatever, you know. It was sort of, everyone was talking about it.
I was driving down the Santa Monica freeway and some bloke yells out, "Pick Marty!"
that was my mom.
Yeah. JD, we'll talk more about, you know, in a few moments' time. I would assume that it's been the biggest thrill of your life, and now it's down to hard work. but the new album, which is out now, Switch, this is available, and it's high time you guys got an album out, because we've been
it's been a long time between drinks.
For any reason?
Well, basically, there wasn't ever a situation where we felt we were ready to make a record, you know, with the right singer, etc., etc. So, until we met JD, and, you know, that things just gelled, and, you know, we actually achieved what we wanted out of the television show. We found someone we relate to really well. He's a band member, and literally picked the guy up off the street, and it's awesome.
All right.
Yeah.
How close was it, Kirk?
It was pretty close. I mean, as a band, we didn't really truly discuss who we felt, you know, or narrow it down to a couple until about the second last week. So we remained pretty open throughout the whole show, and that was what we wanted to do, because we wanted to put everyone through, you know, different tests and push them in different directions and see where their boundaries were, to work out who was right, you know.
You are right.
So there it is. So yeah, it wasn't until the second week that the 5 of us sat down and went, okay guys, we've really got to kind of narrow it down to 1 or 2. You know?
I would have thought, Tim, that one of the things that I've noted about the band is that the choices you've made over the years have been good choices. They always seem to be well thought out. Choice of music and so forth. We knew pretty early in the piece it wasn't going to be an overnight sensation thing, because you wouldn't allow it to be there.
No, that's right. I mean, and I must say, it's nice to have a choice. You know, there was obviously a very dark period for us when we obviously lost Michael, and we didn't have a choice about that. So then I guess we chose to just chill out and not do anything for quite some time, and really took us a long time to get over that. I remember being backstage with Angus Young once after an AC/DC concert, and I said to him, you know, so look, mate, how long did it take you to get over the loss of Bon? And he goes, "Oh, about 6 weeks, mate." I'm going, well, it's already been 6 years.
Wow. And there's nowhere to go after a comment like that.
Exactly.
I was trying to work it out, listening to the album this morning in the dressing room again, just trying to work out the sort of feelings you would have, JD. I mean, without wanting to apply too much pressure. And I thought, well, it would be sort of like someone like myself replacing Johnny Carson, you know, in the sort of area that we do. But I guess you can't allow yourself to think that way, because the boys already said that they were looking for a singer just like you. You came along, so you know the vote of confidence is there right from the start.
Yeah, right from the start. You know, nobody could ever replace Michael. I mean, I'm probably his biggest fan, you know, and I grew up with Inxs, and that's what's really sort of serendipitous about this whole journey, that we met through this show Rockstar, and maybe we would have met even if the show wasn't around, and still put out a great record. I mean, you know, I tend to look at it like that from from those eyes. I mean, I wouldn't ever compete on an island for $1 million, but I would do this 100 times over again for them. Yeah.
Right. And Tim, you emphasised that band thing, and I guess that's pretty important, not just on the road, which is the obvious one, but also in the studio too, because you're going to have disagreements, but you've got to keep it together, haven't you?
Absolutely, keep it together, keep it together. But
so long as they listen to you, everything's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Captain Tim.
Yeah, well.
But it's amazing because you mentioned that, because we actually made this record in 5 weeks from actually blank canvas to mixing, mastered, delivered to the Epic Records in the States, and really
that's fast work.
Quite a turnaround, yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Good experience, JD?
Oh, it was just phenomenal to be in a studio with Inxs and Guy Chambers, and I was learning as much as I could. Took everything not to like take notebooks and what? Sorry, can you repeat that? And that's great, and because it was such an experience.
He has JDD as well.
Yeah. JDD. Do you know, I suppose there was every writer in the world, and those who couldn't write, who wanted to do the Inxs book, particularly after the death of Michael. But this is the one. This is the one. What makes it so special?
Well, it's the only one that we've actually been involved with and that we've authorised and commissioned, I guess.
Actually, Kurt kept diaries since day one.
Oh, so really?
I'm the only one in the band.
Yeah. So what? Anything left out of the diaries?
Yeah, plenty. Plenty. But I handed my diaries over a bit reluctantly to Anthony, and he's done a great job. And I kind of helped him along with it and proofread it, I guess, many times. So yeah, we're really happy with it.
He came out to Australia and he talked to a lot of our family and friends and people who are instrumental in our career. People like Richard Lowenstein, who we did an insurmountable amount of videos with, and other people like Chris Thomas, our producer in England, Mark Opitz, our producer here, and he really thoroughly researched it, and it's all in there, so much so that I can't even read it.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're missing out on a good read. Of course, you were there, so I suppose that's the advantage. But the one thing that also shines through, particularly toward the end of the book, is that it's not the end of the story.
Right.
It's a major part of the story so far, but there's much to come.
Well, it kind of finishes an era,
Yeah.
And now the new era has begun, now that we have a new little brother.
Yeah.
So it's really does. It clubs off that area, and now we start again.
Yeah.
On a lighter note, JD, how much are they paying you? No. I think the thing that, as I mentioned in introducing the boys this morning, to me, Inxs is not just a band. For so many people in so many age groups, it's a way of life. Have a look at that. That'll be Wembley Stadium, I guess.
1991.
Yeah, and that's an Australian band. That's the Aussie band that went over there and not only made it good, made it excellent. And it's the sort of thing that not a lot of people get the opportunity of experiencing. Right. And you've taken us for the ride, especially now with the book and the brand new album. And I wish you nothing but success. It's been a pleasure to have you here.
Thanks, mate. Can I just say I've enjoyed your show, and I'm really sorry that you're moving on. But I had this idea.
Yeah.
Right?
Another member of the band?
No. I thought you should do a late night show. Interview type show called In Bed with Bert.
Why not?
The interview in the bed.
Get in bed with Bert.
In actual fact, why not do it at home, actually in bed?
Exactly, and you can have Patty.
Myself, Patty, and special guests.
I met Pamela Anderson.
Knowing Belvedere, he'll be in the bed. Sorry.
I met Pamela Anderson in LA, and she'd probably be a great first guest.
Yeah. I'll just pick that name up for you. And there you go. Please thank again the boys, members of Inxs, JD Fortune, Tim Paris, and Kirk Pengilly. And great to have Kirk, Tim, and JD with us this morning. Half-term.